Coming in Uprising, we have a number of updates to faction warfare, including new complexes for people to take part in, new systems that impact the war zone, and new ways to play around those systems as well, by adding additional objectives beyond just your regular complexes. We're seeing a shakeup to the complexes that we're adding to faction warfare, with new restrictions, a large new number of complexes, and a whole lot more variety for you to play with. The faction warfare system that you've become accustomed to is still there. It's forming the foundation of the Uprising expansion, but we're adding new layers on top of it to round out the gameplay. In addition to the complexes that you're used to in faction warfare, while there are more of them, there are also additional objectives that you'll see in space, such as supply depots that are owned by the owners of the system, or supply caches by the attackers, rendezvous points where you can assault enemy fleets, and more. All of these things will factor into what is called the advantage system. The advantage system simulates exactly which faction that is fighting over a system has an advantage. How well are they doing in the war effort? Is their propaganda up to par in terms of turning the citizens of that system over to their side? Or are their fleets well supplied? Or are they being attacked mid-transport? All of these things are factored into the advantage score. The better your faction does, the higher their score, the more victory points you'll earn when completing complexes, which means the faster you can capture systems. With Uprising, we're creating a healthy foundation for the faction warfare ecosystem, which we'll continue to build on going into the future. In the future, there will be more objectives, as well as additional ways for people who are not actively in a militia today to join without having to leave their corporation or alliance. The faction warfare system has long been beloved by many players, and it's a very important part of the EVE Online ecosystem. And it's about time that we return to it, give it a new facelift, and begin to expand on the foundation that is already there. You've already seen 8 new ships released last month, and with Uprising's expansion, we're expanding the selection of Navy ships even further, with a new set of Navy destroyers for each faction, as well as Navy dreadnoughts. We chose these ships because they'll fill some gaps in the existing Navy lineup, as well as creating new and diverse engagements in the faction warfare ecosystem. With the dreadnoughts, we wanted to give players something that was really aspirational, a large goal to work towards, something really special, and something that'll help to mix up the capital ecosystem elsewhere in the game. We want to find new and unique uses for these ships in the EVE Online ecosystem that isn't just going to step on the toes of other existing vessels.
Each faction had their own kind of mini guidelines regarding that. The Phoenix is, for example, a ship that needed to be updated. The base Phoenix itself is getting all the new textures and model pieces that the Navy one has, minus some details that we just uniquely made for the Navy version. For every animation or if a state the ship can go in, we've added more animations incorporating VFX. So if something is moving, there's a really good chance that some VFX are involved at the end and highlighting that.
I can't wait to see these ships get into your hands, see what you do with them, and look at the deaths on Zkill.
Players' identity in New Eden is important to them. What they want to do is they want to showcase off who they belong to, a corporation or alliance, and being able to kind of go proudly into a fight with other players. The first thing that we are releasing are emblems. Emblems allow them to put their corporation and alliance logos on ship and kind of fly in fleet formation into these battles. Down the line, kind of what we are hoping to achieve with Heraldry is that we want to enable players to do more to kind of sculpt their identity within New Eden in a better way. At release, players will be able to acquire emblems for around 100 ships, and then over time we will gradually be seeding more ship hulls into the game.
We decided to visually update the Apple Hangars because it's a place that players spend a lot of time in. It's also an environment for us to try out new things, because they're kind of contained in this hangar environment. So we used it to push a lot of new tech stuff that is giving us a lot of possibilities in the future. The main part also that we wanted to emphasize is the scale of the game. So within the hangars there is this main hall, and in that one, for the first time now, we have multiple placements for ships, which gives players a sense of scale between the ships. Also to be able to, see what ships they have in their hangar inventory.
Before, I would have been like, why would I want to dock in a hangar? Now I'm like, why would I ever want to leave the hangar? It's amazing. It's way more visceral, way more interesting, as you're able to swap between ships, and it'll fly through the hangar, get the boosters going up, and then you're actually taking off. If you and there's actually a couple of different ways, or ways for you to play with your ship, kind of. So you can hit cancel, and if you hit cancel in the first second, then the ship will go, and then all the lights and all the stuff is going on, and it's kind of taking off. But if you hit cancel and go back down, ooh. If you cancel just 2 seconds in, then it'll actually take off and it'll do a little fly around the hangar, which is really, really sweet. So you actually get to fly around in hangars a little bit, and if you do cancel after the 3rd second, then you're not canceling, you're taking off. You made the decision, you lost a chance, you're going out.
Narrative-driven design is something that we started earlier this year. We have done it sometime in the past in some shape or form, but we sort of wanted to escalate it. So in the past, in the lead up to, for example, Abyssal Dead Space, we had a story going on and kind of mystery and things for players to discover, etc., etc. And we sort of wanted to apply that to basically as much as we can when we're creating new features for EVE Online. This summer we have had things happening around Athonon, where Kaldari and Galente are struggling it out. We have things happening in Turnur, Vard and Egmar, where the Amar started having stellar transmuters and the Minmers are trying to stop them. We have tech races between the empires, and we want these player activities and events really sort of control how the features are rolled out and in what order, and then that players actually do affect the storyline and the history of New Eden. For example, with the gate construction in Athonon, both the Kaldari wanted a gate into Athonon and the Galente, and it was totally up to the players to determine when or if their empire managed to construct a gate into Athonon. And we are quite willing, if players do not manage to actually construct the gate, meet the requirements for the empire to actually construct the game into Athonon, they will never get the gate into Athonon. So it's totally and completely in player hands. What we are really trying is to co-write the story of New Eden with players and player input, and make player input meaningful to that story, and them actually affect the politics of New Eden and the world of New Eden.
The Little Things is an initiative where we collect ideas from players on how to improve their everyday EVE life. We do this on the forums. We go through Twitter, the Reddit, and also in-game. Some of the little things coming in Uprising are: we hope those little things will have a big impact on your life in New Eden. If you have more suggestions, please go to our forum thread.